Good morning. Welcome to the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust meeting for Tuesday, July 9th, being held in room 27 of Town Hall and via Zoom. Outgoing President Carl Schultz will preside until we do. Chair, I'm sorry, not President. God. King. Outgoing Chair Carl Schultz will preside until we do the reorganization, which is the first step. So I'll call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock, and we'll start with a roll call, starting on my left.
Sandy Slavin.
Judith Whiteside.
Mr. Manise?
Jim Manise.
Are you here? Yes. And Carl Schultz, Chair, is present. We also, in the room, have two guests. If you could just introduce yourself.
Steve Bushman.
Okay.
Steve Kaminsky, Code Partners.
Thank you.
Can you declare a quorum present with the clerk?
Okay, all right. And I declare that we have a quorum present. So the first item of business is to reorganize the trust for 2025. And we have four members who have been reappointed and have all been sworn in. Is that correct? Okay, there is an issue on the letters and
The rotation.
The rotation. We will work that out with the clerk and the select board.
I make a motion, we appoint Carl Schultz as our chair.
We can get there yet.
I'm pushing it.
Okay, so moving on, we do need to elect officers, a chair and a clerk. I'm looking for motions. Go ahead, Cindy.
I make a motion, we appoint Carl Schultz as our chair.
Is
And I
there-
make a motion that we report Jim Eunice as our clerk. All in the same motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second them.
All right, seconded by Ms. Whiteside. All in favor?
Well, can I ask first?
Oh, sure.
Are you both willing?
Jim, you okay?
Well, it's not my favorite thing to do, but seeing lack of otherwise and people being pretty much overburdened at times, I'm willing to do it.
Okay, thank you. And for now, yes, right now, yes. So we have a motion in a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Yes.
Whiteside, yes.
Slavin,
Jim Manise, yes.
And the Schultz votes yes. So we have been reorganized. Thank you, Cindy. I can't tell you how much.
Well, who else is gonna be?
It could have been you.
Jim? No. Judy or Sandy? I don't think so. Jim, would you?
Jim, did you want to be Jim?
I'm good where I am. Things seem to be working well, you know.
You do good minutes.
Well, I don't really enjoy it, but
Hey.
such is life, right?
Gotta take a pill every once in a while.
I'm with you, that's why I'm taking it for the team.
Thank you. Okay. We do have a set of minutes that came out this morning for the last meeting.
I read them. I will move that we accept them as written.
I haven't had,
Do you want to take a second?
just give me a second.
Do you want me to, they need to be amended to add that clause you wanted me to add?
Yeah, and also on the bottom, could you just add the website link?
That's what I said, to add
Yeah.
that link.
If you don't mind, Jim?
I sent it to you yesterday at some
Hold
point.
on one second. Well, let me do this here. I thought it was for the posting of the agendas.
Well, I got it on the agenda as well, but there's been a request to all boards added to the bottom of
Okay.
the minutes.
Of the minute, yeah, we can, that's a cut and paste as long
Right,
as
I
have
actually
it.
did, I looked it
Yeah.
up for you and gave you the link.
Thank you. And,
It's a really easy way of the public being able to just hit that and see
Right.
the video.
On the agenda, what I have been doing, because I can't know in advance what the link is gonna be, so the WCTV set up a playlist.
Right,
So I just pointed to the playlist, which will be all of our recordings.
right.
So, but then he can put the specific
Right.
recording in the minutes.
Oh, he doesn't need to do that, all he needs to do, because what they're showing is they're coming up in
Order, yes.
numerical, chronological order, so, yeah, whichever way you wanna do it.
Okay,
I
so-
think it's, it helps the public and it helps show that there's transparency on this board.
Yep. So we're good. So either, Jim, you could copy what's on the bottom of the minute of the agenda and just put it on the minutes then. And you don't even have to change your minutes. That shouldn't change for 2024.
On the set of minutes we're looking at, it says the next meeting is June 10th, 24. And
Okay,
this is June 11th meetings, so, minutes, so I think there's
it
something.
should be July then.
9th.
Today's the ninth.
Yeah, so with that,
Should be July 9th?
Yes.
Is it June 9th is what I put down?
you did June 10th. Don't know where that one came from.
Cut and paste.
Yeah,
Alright.
correct.
So, as amended,
Yes,
July.
so I read them and I approved them as amended, so. Someone made a motion,
I did.
then I second it.
all in favor?
I didn't say
Okay,
Roll
so-
call vote.
Roll, so Whiteside, aye. Denise, aye. Schultz, aye. So the motion passes 4-0-0.
Can I just ask that
4-0
you not
as
put the town
amended.
seal on the minutes? We don't use town seal on minutes or agendas.
What's that?
We don't use town seal on minutes or agendas, on any board or commission.
Oh, we don't?
No,
Oh, we're doing that for 4 years?
I know, but we're not supposed to, so.
Okay. So
It's not a biggie.
we'll clean all that up.
It's
Remove
not a biggie.
town seal. I just figured we were town board and that's why we've always done that. We're part of the government, but that's okay. Move town seal as per law.
Okay. Moving on to new business, and this is something I'm hoping Sandy can help us with. I had been meeting with Derek, trying to, later on we'll talk about the grants, but he raised a question about the status of the award from 2010 town meeting, Article 44. And Sandy, I think he had spoken with you about it, and you probably understand this way better than I do, so.
In the article, it mentions something from the town, and it never happened. And because of that report, relationship or something, he felt that maybe it was an invalid, we couldn't use the money because that agreement hadn't been signed between the town and Affordable Housing Trust. And he felt because of that, that maybe the article was invalid. Which I sent you a note, Carl, saying maybe we should consider not using that article funds for Woodland Cove, but use the $150,000 instead.
Yeah, we have other
Yeah, so,
funds.
but it's one of those things that I'm trying to find the article, a copy of that article from 2010, to read it specifically so you all hear what,
Is it in this one here?
no. Where is it?
I'm familiar with the
It's-
filing system.
It's hard to believe that,
Is it too late to sign this agreement?
I'm trying to think what,
And by the way, I did go back and meet with Derek, and I said, regardless if those funds are available, the trust has funds to use. All right, so you don't.
there is some question on Mr. Sullivan approving the contract we have with Wingate, to use the funds from that 2010 CPA grant request because of that requirement that was never filled.
Okay, there's nothing in the grant agreement that says where the funds are coming from,
No.
other than they're coming from the Affordable Housing Trust. So I reported to him that we have other funds available, and if we need to re-vote on that. So what I'd like to do, I think, is if we can sign whatever needs to get signed
Yes.
to perfect that grant, we should do it. At this time, I think either now or under the Woodland Cove section, would perhaps make a motion and vote. I'll let you
No,
process.
just go on.
A motion and vote that something along the lines of, if the grant from 2010, Article 44, is not available, that we use funds from the grant. The fall 2023 town meeting was Article 12, perhaps. So I think we have funds available.
Yes.
So I don't remember if the initial motion, I think the initial motion said we would use that grant to fund it. So I'm looking for the authority to if necessary, use the funds from the grant at Fall Town Meeting 2023.
Ta-da! I move that the town vote to appropriate from the Community Preservation Affordable Housing Reserve Fund the sum of $60,000 to the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust as a grant, and to authorize the town to enter into an agreement with said trust, which should include but not be limited to provisions limiting the purpose of the funds for which the funds may be spent to those consistent with the Community Preservation Act, providing for return of grant funds if not used, i.e., it says, and authorize the town to enter into an agreement with the trust, saying we will use the funds appropriately. We never entered into that agreement. The town never entered an agreement with the trust.
Okay, so second question, do we have that same restriction for the fall?
No,
Okay, great. So,
the fall is slightly different. Huh?
Did you send him a copy of this?
Ooh,
Oh.
I probably have it
it's,
somewhere.
we've
yes.
all talked about it.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Well,
around
this
some.
needs to be appended to the minutes.
Okay.
Would you like me to get you a copy of this? And we
Well,
can send it to you electronically.
You can reference it as part of the minutes.
right,
Yes, reference it as part of the minutes.
So we're gonna append or reference the text of Article 44.
And I'm trying to find the article we just passed for $150,000, because there were some words in that too.
electronic.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay, so we'll reference both of those,
Yeah.
those articles.
And because that was never done, more than likely authorize the town, which to me would have been CPC, to have indicated that they, part of the $60,000, that you agreed to adhere to CPA
All right,
guidelines for the use of those funds.
Which we-
That never happened,
we
and
do.
we've always agreed that we would.
yes. So I think we should pursue perfecting that grant
And memorialize the grants, both of them.
and memorialize both of the grants as an action item. In the meantime, I don't have the motion where we did the original grant for the 56 and the 6, but I think we may have referenced that $60,000.
Yes.
So I would like a motion today to amend the grant award for rental assistance to residents of Woodland Cove to use trust funds as available,
Correct.
and without specifying the source, because we have the funds.
I just made that motion.
Oh, you did, I'm sorry, I missed it. Thank you.
I didn't.
Oh. Motion by Ms. Whiteside, looking for a second.
Second,
All in favor by roll call.
yes. Sandy.
Whiteside, yes.
Manise, yes.
And Schultz votes yes. So that perfects our ability to fund a grant award at the moment. And in the meantime, we'll work to ensure that these two CPC grants interests are perfected.
We've only awarded one grant to Woodland Cove, correct?
One grant,
One grant,
excuse me, we did it in two tranches. We did $50,000 for the first 50 units, and then a second motion
correct, for
for
six.
$6,000.
But it's only for phase one.
Only for all the
So the
56.
total is 56,000?
Yes.
Period?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Not phase two has not been awarded yet?
It hasn't even been applied for. It's
Okay.
only been discussed.
Good. I just didn't want to spend more money than we had if we can't get
No.
those grants.
So we have two awards that we've made, which we're gonna talk about today, but the $50,000, and I guess 50 and 6.
56,000.
And Mr. Boschman's,
50.
we're gonna talk about today. Okay, any other discussion on this? So I'll work with Sandy on presenting these two grants. And then Jim will capture this and memorialize it in the minutes.
Well, I don't really have a lot of
Yeah,
information.
I'll work with you.
I mean, this is all brand new to me.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about it.
yes, it only came up because Mr. Sullivan raised the question 2 weeks ago. So it's all brand new to us, which is why I put it on the agenda so that everybody was informed. All right, moving on to item 6, which is open items and continuing business. So, for your information, I distributed, the first item is the 2024 annual report. The only question that I raised was, we have what we have in the operating budget, which included both of those grants. So do we want to report that, or how do we want to deal? And I actually called out the two grants, the 60
Yeah.
and the 150. So right now, we can, at the end of 2024, we believe that that's what we had.
Yes, and we've always reported as such.
So I have a question about the word operating, or the operating budget.
We could call it, that was just my language, what would you like?
Well, I mean, other than grants and possibly ads in the paper or something, what do you,
The trust has $137,000 available.
Right,
I think I would leave it at that instead of saying operating budget. I don't,
okay.
budget is, income and outgo and, yeah.
Well,
It talks about a level of accounting, we're not, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, so the trust has 137, which will carry through to the notice of funding available for grants.
Well, no, I don't agree with
Yeah.
notice of funding and expending all our funds for the
Wait,
funding, because
we didn't get there yet. I'm trying to get the annual report done.
you just write it, you just were quoting what you were gonna do. And
Okay.
it's available,
It's available,
but
that's,
it's not for grant funding.
fine. I said that whatever number we put in here will tie into the notice of funding availability in some way. It won't be more in the notice of funding availability.
It would be less,
When we get there, okay.
yeah.
Okay, the trust has, how would you like to word this? The trust has $137,000.
In
In
available funds,
in
period.
available,
In available funds, period.
Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
do we want to say that's part of the town's available? It's held in the town.
Kiss,
No,
keep it simple.
Okay, just available. Don't have to say that, accounting can provide it or anything like that.
No.
No,
Okay. So this is the report that I'm sending to the select board
for the
and
town meeting, yeah,
for the town meeting.
for the town report.
And I will include, assuming that we're gonna perfect the 60 and the 150, nobody doesn't want us to have that, we just have to do paperwork.
Now, this 137,000, did you pull it from, did Judy give it to you?
No, okay, so if you wanna go where I got it from, I also sent you that document. So if you go forward to,
No, because
what, I mean, I didn't get your
the
updated interest.
last one I have is fiscal year '23, and it doesn't agree to that, it does not agree to that dollar amount. We've not received an FY '24 accounting yet.
I did not, but I did send sources and uses of fund document for 2025, 2024. I listed the account balance, which hasn't been updated. I can note that it has not been updated.
All right, let's start. At fiscal year ending 2023, the balance was different than what you have on your colored sheet.
Okay, I don't have, if you have that, we can adjust it. So
Well,
what,
we've talked about this,
What do you have, Sandy?
I,
May I make a copy of that for everyone so that they see it?
And I might
Well,
make a
that's an old-
suggestion.
I'll just make a
I,
copy of it.
you were gonna get an updated report.
but we haven't closed the year yet, so I don't have anything yet from Judy, because it still hasn't been updated with monthly interest.
And I have
The
to,
other Judy, not me.
I know, I have to do this report today,
I know.
so,
So we can just say, the trust has this dollar amount as of,
right, that's what it says. Okay, I can add a note that says as of.
okay, but,
What number would you like to be put in there?
well, the question has to be as, on your colored sheet, the number has available 137,713, but on this letter, it says 137,746.
That's not, that number is the number at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, my printer didn't like the green.
Although, you're
No, it
correct.
doesn't,
that
it doesn't match either.
That doesn't match, so that's, hang on.
And here's the question I have, is that all dollars available or just the town's budget, the funds available?
What do you mean the town's budget?
What's in it county?
I mean, our funds,
We have an account,
our funds.
yes. Now
That's
the question-
137,700 and something.
And actually, I need to track them back. So what number do you,
we-
we did this last year.
Can we ask Judy
Thank you.
Luzerne to give us a current balance? And we use that balance, saying at the end of June, or wherever she has it through.
It's the same thing.
It's $141,813.92,
I mean, fine.
Thanks.
right?
That's why these are drafts.
Because we gained interest.
Yes.
Yep.
And I didn't have that number available to me when I did the draft.
No, because I didn't, well, I wasn't asked, and I didn't ask Judy, give us the most latest report.
Well, thank you, whoever presented this.
So, you want to start with the sources and uses of funds. What number would you like to use for account balance? And that says as of June 1st,
Okay,
2023.
if we want to use as of June 1st, 2023, the balance here says 141,813.92.
Okay, so that should be,
Unless I'm not reading this right. Yes, 141,
Correct. 813.30.
813.92. That is in our account balance.
Yeah.
All we have, and for this year, all we have is interest, so it's gonna be higher.
all right, but
Correct.
I'm
So
just gonna use,
Wait,
right now,
wait,
this,
wait, Jim,
we need to get a new balance.
yes, I just said that I
I
had to
know,
go to
so-
Judy to get a new balance.
And then you'll forward that to Kyle, right?
But this report right now, as of the beginning of this fiscal year, this is our balance. We haven't said what's at the end of the fiscal year yet.
May I make a
Please, go
suggestion that
ahead.
might help? Okay, in order to get this report done, I think we leave the 137,746.22 in a gray area, and we will have you straighten it out with Ms. Lauzon so that you can hand the report in when it's done. The rest of the report, let's talk about that, because Ms. Lauzon is not going to be available to answer questions until after the 15th of this month, because she's closing the books out.
right.
Is that,
That's not.
Yes. So on your colored sheet, Carl, we'll have to start with the 141 on the colored sheet.
Yeah.
Because we've confirmed that the balance as of June 1st, no,
As of May
June 1st,
31st.
July 1st, 23.
so I would, to move this meeting along, I would,
This is why I send this stuff out in
Yes.
advance, but.
Yeah, and I saw it.
so I would just suggest that we leave the thing that's in grayscale giving the chair the authority to adjust as necessary, and let's look at the rest of the report so we can move on with the rest of the meeting.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, what else would you like to? How am I talking?
So, 2 grants have been awarded and awaiting distribution, that's why you're called 150 and 156. 150 and 16, those are the 2 grants that have been waiting distribution.
No, no,
No. It says 2 grants have been awarded,
okay, if you want to say 3, then
no, but grants for
the word, the rental assistant grants
56,
and Mr. Boschman's grants for 50, which comes out to $106,000.
so you can say $106 have been issued for 3 grants.
Well, why don't you be specific and say X for the rental assistance, X for Mr. Boschman's project, X for whatever.
Okay,
Then you are
grants
specific.
have been
and it can be
awarded.
known. Yeah,
Our
Items.
funds.
is that okay?
It's fine with me. Oh, I can do that.
So 56,000 for rental assistance and 50,000 for 6 Chapel Lane.
Correct. Those are the 2 grants that we have awarded. And
Rental assistant Woodland Cove.
you want
Yes, you have to say Woodland Cove.
Okay.
You can't say, to be specific, if we're saying Chapel Lane, then we have to say what is the site we did the rental assistance for at Woodland Cove.
Isn't it now known as something else though?
Not to me, so I don't know.
As far as I know, it's still Woodland Cove. Have they changed the name of it?
Managing partner.
Mr.
Well, that's
or
when
Mr.
they-
Arista, can you answer that question?
I can answer it. No, it's Woodland Cove.
Okay.
So it's rental assistance at Woodland Cove. We're not issuing it to Woodland Cove, it's at Woodland Cove, and that takes care
I
of
think that makes
who
sense.
becomes the managing.
Can I just jump in? Are these people gonna be able to converse on
They're
Zoom?
supposed to be able to.
Because there's management people and other that need to talk.
He would have to let.
Are they, an,
They're attendees, you guys would need to, you want them to be panelists?
they need to be able to
Yes, please make them panelists.
participate.
And for Mr. Menezes' records, they need to identify themselves, spell their names, and give
Yes,
their titles.
When they speak.
When they speak, yes.
We have,
But we haven't gotten to that part of the agenda yet, so other than, thank you for, and can you just state your name?
Stephen Kaminsky, I'm from Dakota Partners.
Okay, and so you're confirming that it should still be called Woodland Cove?
As far as I know, Roberto, can you hear us?
He's not let in.
Yes, I can hear you.
We
Can you
haven't-
hear me?
Yes, we haven't
Now we
changed,
can.
we haven't changed the name of the project, have we?
I'm sorry?
We haven't changed the name of the project, it's still Woodland Cove, right?
It is Woodland Cove.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. All right, so I will amend the number once, if we can get an updated balance, otherwise I'll use the number that's in, he gave me 141, 813, 92 as the starting number. As of June 1st, or whatever the date of this report was.
6/30/23.
Yes. Thank you.
Year end. Yep,
Yeah, and all the numbers will flow from there.
yep. So that now that we've named 3, the word both won't be able to be used anymore. And do we really want to say we've got 4 potential opportunities? Because I don't think we've got 4.
How about you identified other potential
Yep,
opportunities?
and then put in a number.
Okay. Perfect.
Those are uncommitted funds,
Correct,
and these are all just maybes.
correct.
Yes.
Proposed projects.
Now, the other 2 documents
Hang on, are we done? Ms. Whiteside, are we done?
I'm fine with the way that you've amended it, and, I mean, I know what you're gonna be doing, and you've added some things and you've changed some things, so would you like a motion to?
Well, should we indicate that Judy now is part of our committee since she joined us before the
Well,
end
that
of the
was,
fiscal year?
that was through June 30th. Do you want me to list you?
No,
as-
she joined us before June 30th.
You want me to list you as a member?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess,
Okay.
yeah, if you don't want.
No,
And, I would suggest using appropriate Christian names as, you know, like Patricia Wertz, or, and James. You are James, are you James?
As far as what?
Legally, when you sign your name on a badge.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, so I would, you know what I'm saying?
And honestly, I don't think we need Trish's or Samantha's names there. I wouldn't.
Who?
Trish or Samantha.
They were trust members during that year.
And in terms of when we go back and look at records, what I'm finding is that year-end reports that list even the person, you know, who has resigned, it's very helpful to know those things because they jive with the records. And if you're going back and trying to find records, the more information that's there, believe me, I've spent a lot of time looking at records and it's not fun. I just would disagree with you, Sandy, on that one.
I'm flexible. I think we should list them. They were
Okay.
they were members of the trust,
Yeah.
and if they voted,
And yeah, there would have been in the record,
they would have been in the record.
becoming members. Okay, next, please.
Okay, so the next item on the, so thank you for this, and if you, are you gonna follow up with?
Judy,
Judy?
accounting.
Yes.
May not be Judy, but accounting.
Right, but not until way after the 15th, because,
I'm not gonna talk to Judy, we have Nita, she can give me a report.
not until after the 15th, please, we have some
All right, let's
work.
move forward.
Okay, so you'll get it to me, but for right now, I'm gonna use the number from this report.
What we've used, our beginning balance of the fiscal year, as of July 1st, 2023, this was our balance.
Correct.
Yes.
And all the math on that sheet
Yeah.
will flow from there. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that
Okay.
sheet.
This isn't due to the end of July, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we've got time to do.
Yep.
Okay. The next item, year-end financial status, which is what we were just talking about. So that's the colored report that I sent. I will fix the balance, the opening balance and the date based on that report. It will
Yep.
read 141, 813.92
Yep.
as of whatever the date of that,
Mhm.
June 30th, 2023. And then I've got local funding CPA funds on hold is $60,000, Article 44. Local funding CPA funds, $150,000, Article 12 from 2023. There's no funds from tax titles.
Remove that totally and completely, the state laws no longer allows any proceeds to come to anybody other than, remove it, it doesn't exist.
Okay, I asked for a ruling from Mr. Bowen, I never got one, but
That's, she's correct.
The state changed it.
I saw that, but there was, there were court cases disputing that. And
I've never heard those, but I know that we were not getting any funds from
Okay.
proceeds made on tax
And it's supposed to go
takings.
into a separate account within the town,
Well, that's,
period.
All right, I'm taking it off,
So, may I speak to this here?
please.
I think I agree with Mr. Schultz that it's still unclear. People have a period of time to claim related to properties, and if they don't within a period of time, it's expired. And so I think it's unclear
But
whether
for
we're
si- for
entitled to
simplicity-
that or not.
For simplicity's sake, there's no funds available. Right now, we could just take the line item off. And if it shows up, as you say, if we do get some funds, I'll add it back
Go
in.
ahead. I just.
I agree with you, I thought it was still unclear. You want me to remove the
I
line
would
item?
prefer that you remove it.
Do we need to vote on this? What do you think?
No, we're just editing the report.
Okay.
When the report is done, we'll approve the report, but right now it's being edited.
Other affordable housing grants and programs, zero funds.
It's vague enough to keep.
Okay. All right, which, when the math works out,
Yep,
will give us a total funds available.
yep.
Or it probably shouldn't use the word available anymore because I used available in the other report. I'll just say total funds for the moment. Okay, so we have a section for committed uses. We have rental assistance of $50,000, which was voted on 2020-11. We had an additional $6,000, which was voted on 2023-823 for the additional 6 units in phase 1. And then also 2023-823, we voted on $50,000 for 6 Chapel Lane. So those are committed uses, that's what I called them.
That's a good term.
That for $106,000, which will then flow back into the annual report and will be itemized to match those line items. I probably should have done this before we did the report. So we have 2 proposed uses, and that's all they are. They were proposed, was $56,000 for phase 2 at Woodland Cove for rental assistance, and Depot Street. I did not list Gibbs Avenue yet, which we could,
I don't think Depot Street was even discussed.
we've
I
discussed
took it
Depot
out there.
Street multiple times.
That's it.
I just don't remember, it says grant, we don't have a grant on
No
Depot Street.
application. no.
Because we talked about
There
Depot
is,
Street, in that possibly, instead of using ARP
That's-
funds, go to CPC for all the funds.
okay, these were
Did I miss
things,
something?
we haven't voted on it, there's not been a grant application,
Then-
but we have discussed it. It was a proposed use.
At this point in time, in the last meeting, I believe Mr. Bauschman said those are off the table until they complete the project that he's working on now.
I didn't hear the word off the table. What I heard was he's not focused on them at the moment until he gets done with Chapel Lane. You know what, why don't one of you guys do these reports? Okay, I'll take, Grant, I'll take that one. Which one?
Yes, the Depot, because there are much more funds available in CPC, and he could ask for more money there than he could from here.
Fine.
But what we have talked about is the 56,000 for phase 2 at Woodland Cove.
Okay. That
Then you
will then.
Yep, change the numbers to
It
reflect
will,
that.
it will then flow down, and then the uncommitted funds, that number will go up, and I'll carry that forward to the annual report.
Okay.
So may I ask, what are we stating we have for available funds?
Whatever the math is when I change,
Just our funds, right? Just the trust's funds?
no, this is all available to us to award grants.
Oh, I see what Jim is driving at.
I don't,
I do.
We need to enter into agreement to memorialize the 2 grants from CPC through the town.
Right, and they are committed, but not yet,
Dispersed.
well, they're committed in one sense, but they are not committed in another sense. I think that we've gone well beyond what we need to be talking about. I hear you, Jim.
But we need to formalize
No.
it, because we can't say we have
Yeah, no, you
this
can't,
much
yeah,
and
when you
plan on
don't.
spending it,
Right.
and we don't. And we can't even fund
Right,
the second half of
right, and that's,
Woodland or any other projects,
Right.
really.
okay, so you want me to move the 2 CPC grants to a section
there's sort
says
of an
un-
off-balance sheet item.
I think they're fine where they are available to us. And that's what you're showing.
Well, Jim is saying they're not available to us until we perfect them.
He's right.
What do you mean by perfecting them?
We have to fill, at least the $60,000 we have to fill out and get that agreement signed.
So,
Since 2010, yeah.
We've been showing it since 2010, but Mr. Sullivan only brought it up last week.
Isn't that what, is that what we're doing though, by requesting the release of funds from that grant for this particular purpose to the CPC, who will then request that be released by the town? Or vote it yourself, I don't know how you have to do it. Do you follow me? We're requesting a
not.
release of funds from that
Yes.
grant.
Yes. You
For a
request
particular purpose.
CPC to release the funds. CPC then submits the document to Judy for releasing the funds.
Okay. Well,
so
Okay.
can we hear from everybody else and then go back to this? 'Cause
all right. Let's table these items for the moment, because there are some
All right.
people here. Everything will then, the annual report, the notice of funding availability flow from agreeing on what numbers I put on this sheet.
Okay.
And if we need to have a special meeting, we can schedule a special meeting too.
You know, you're the chair, you can write the report. As a courtesy, you have shared your draft.
All right, we're gonna table these items, Jim, for the moment.
Which ones?
Hang on.
The report?
The year-end financial status, and the notice of funding availability.
Yeah,
Everything in section 6.1 we'll table it.
thank you.
Okay, so let's move on. We do have guests here.
Yeah.
So discussing the rental assistance grant for 56 units at Woodland Cove. We have some folks here. If you could identify yourselves.
First, can you put Janelle Edsay up? She's still not a participant.
Noah, did you hear that?
I am. They have to accept, to be panelists themselves.
So she
I
just
understand.
hasn't accepted?
Yeah.
Janelle, if you can hear us, you need to accept whatever Noah just did.
There should be a pop-up that says, would you like to be a
Yeah.
panelist? on
Roberto,
tonight's
can you
screen.
flip her a text or something? I don't think she's hearing us. I don't think he's hearing us either.
Roberta, can you hear us?
I'm hearing everything, thank you. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, can you flip Janelle a text?
That's
Get-
no.
take-
I did already.
Okay.
And she was waiting for the invite.
She should have
And I'm
it.
assuming if she got it, she will soon get in.
All right, well, we'll get started, and then if she needs to chime in, we'll find a way to hear from her.
Thank you.
All right, so we have been discussing Woodland Cove for some time now, the rental assistance grant. The folks that I have been dealing with apparently are no longer with the project. I have been regularly sending status reports to those folks, and apparently none of you were getting those communications.
Is that Maloney Properties?
No, they were Penn,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
and,
Penn has left Dakota, that's right.
and there was a young lady whose name is Angela.
Yeah.
Was it Angela?
Yes.
Yeah, she has
So-
left as well.
So
That's right.
I've been sending them regular updates, requesting information and
Okay.
getting nothing. And until Roberto reached out to me, now we're reconnected. So where we're at right now is we have a proposed, as you've heard, we have a grant that we've awarded. We're discussing our internal policies for where the money's coming from. But the grant, as far as the trust is concerned, has been awarded and will be funded. It's for 56 individuals for rental assistance up to $1,000 each. And that's the wording of the grant. And I can go back and read that if we need to, but it's available. All right. What we've been waiting on are two things. One, we can't award the grant until we have, well, actually, there's one thing that I didn't list, and I'll get to that. Confirmation that these are deed restricted, which I believe we've established. The other thing that we've been waiting on is confirmation that these items have been counted in the SHI inventory of the town. And Penn was working with the town planner on that, and as far as I know, that's still unresolved. So we need these these units counted in the town's SHI inventory.
So have you, the town, that's normally the town's responsibility.
And there was discussions between the town planner and Penn about information and
And that information is usually with DHCD, I think they have a different name.
Whatever the new name is.
Yeah, HLC.
Penn
and,
accepted responsibility for resolving that issue.
Yeah, maybe I can help you out with that, but it's it can be a little slow.
Can I ask a question here?
Sure.
Have you received your occupancy permit yet?
That was my next item.
Well, that's,
Roberto can talk to that.
Okay, that was the next unresolved item, is we can't award the grant until you have occupancy agreement.
Right.
So if you want to
Yeah.
speak, introduce yourself,
status-
please introduce yourself, your title, and
My name is Roberto Ariz, I'm principal at Dakota Partners.
thank you.
So the status of the certificate of occupancy is as follows. The physical inspection has been done and passed. The building commissioner requested some documentation, which we submitted. And there's one last item that he asked clarification on, or more support for, which is the handicap units. There are two types of handicap units. And the building commissioner wants clarification about why there are two different types of handicap units. And so the architect submitted a letter, and he said he would like additional support from the state confirming that the architect's interpretation of the code is correct. And that is in process. We're hoping to get it this week. We were hoping to get it last week, but of course, last week was vacation. And so we're hoping to get something from some document from the state confirming that the architect's interpretation is correct. And it is my understanding that as soon as we submit that, he will issue a certificate of occupancy. And I'm hoping that will be this week.
Great, and if you could just do the trust a favor, just when you have that certificate of occupancy, have someone drop me an email, just,
Sure.
and then we could check that item off the
Sure.
checklist.
Yes, we can do that.
and if I may, then we can apply to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities for inclusion on the SHI.
Right, we don't apply, but we'll
The
press.
town, we the town.
We, the town.
The town does. but
Correct.
You still maybe, with the way it works is when you give us the comprehensive permit, the units go on the list. If you don't
They're
start construction.
not on the list.
Okay, if you don't start construction within a year, they come off. But
They
then
were
once
never,
you-
they never made it to the
All right,
list.
so once you
I've
start
been working with Penn for 2 years
Oh, they never made it on? All right.
to get them on the list.
All right, so we can do that.
All right, so
And being on SHI list was not a criteria of issuing the grant. The issuing of the grant was that the affordable housing deed restriction is
I
done.
agree, but we
So you
all,
keep mentioning, we want the, on SHI.
I'm not going to move forward until it gets on the SHI list.
I don't, then you,
That,
maybe
we've been,
that's-
we've been discussing this for 2 years, Sam.
Yes, but that's not,
Okay, it's not
it's
the way
not
you,
in our grant request that it has to be I. It has to be there.
fine.
Yes, you can continue to push it, but that's your opinion, not the opinion of the Affordable Housing Trust, because we never took a vote on it, that we delay the funds for the SHI listing. Okay,
Okay,
Do you know what your percentage is right now? Are you over 10%?
no,
Oh.
we need it, we need
You need to
this
get over?
to be
Okay.
there, yes.
I'll
That's why we're
I'll
pushing.
definitely look into it. I agree, it was never, I was gonna apply for this money. It was never discussed,
No.
but we can do whatever, as much as we can.
thank you.
And you certainly qualify
And
for
it's
the
the
units.
town, yeah, okay, yes, been working hard on it, Carl, you most certainly have.
Okay, it's not news.
No, it's not news.
Okay, I won't bring it up anymore. We do need the certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
All right, that brings us to the contract We have a contract that has been executed by Wingate Partners. It has been in the town queue. It's been approved by Attorney Bowen.
As to
And
form.
as to form, that's,
Thank you. Yep.
that's,
Yep.
yes, as to form. And it has been in the town queue on Derek's desk since October.
Is that the thing that you sent me
Um,
a couple of days ago? You, somebody?
I don't know if I sent you, I might have sent you a copy.
I think it's this
The
one.
Wingate,
Yep,
yes,
yep.
yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we have that. So we're still trying to get the town to sign it. I did send Roberto a note yesterday. A question came up this week from the town administrator, and it is not in the contract with Wingate. And we have representatives from Wingate here, right?
That would be Janelle.
Janelle is attending this meeting, but for some reason, she's not getting that invite to be a panelist. And I'm not sure what's happening, but she said that after, you know, your person sent it, I don't know,
Try again, Noah. Can you send it
Try
again?
again.
Can
That's
you
all,
try?
all I can really do is try again.
Yeah, we're gonna try
Yeah, that's
again.
fine.
All right,
I'm
so-
not sure why she's not getting it. but-
The latest issue that came up from town administrator is confirmation that Wingate Partners, once, there's information flow and reports and all that's in there, but he wanted confirmation that you're going to provide the W-9s to the recipients of the grants, because
I
that,
think, yeah, there might be some confusion there because you don't really issue a W-9 to an individual, you issue a 1099. So I think that Wingate's happy to issue the 1099 to the individual when they receive this money.
okay. He definitely said W-9s, so I will confirm with him. And I've invited him to the
If you
meeting.
could confirm that, because a W-9 is really only for a business, a 1099 is for an individual.
And I don't think as a town administrator, we asked our attorney as to what is the proper tax document to give to the people who are getting paid rent. I just,
So I have a question too, because you're talking about Dakota Partners, you're talking about Wingate, you're talking about whatever the other name is.
The trust is
so let her
entering.
ask the question.
Okay.
Okay, so if I were Susie Smith on the street, I'd be pulling my hair out right now, because this is a very unclear set of movement of money to, I get the point, but I don't get the audit trail. I'm a retired banker, I like it in
Yes,
black and white.
the audit trail is detailed in the contract.
Okay,
But basically, the trust and the town is not in a position to administer 50 individual grants.
that's correct.
We worked hard to identify a resource who could do that.
Which is
And
Wingate,
ultimately, we came down to the management team at Wingate who's gonna manage the
Okay.
property.
Okay.
They've agreed to administer the grants
okay,
according to the terms that we
okay,
discussed. We drafted a contract. I think they probably prepared the first draft. Mr. Bowen weighed in on it, as I said. And they've sent us a signed, executed copy, and it's been waiting for the town administrator to countersign.
okay,
That's where it's at right now. So the process, though, is once we get all the paperwork done, we would fill out the request to CPC, if we're gonna use CPC funds ultimately, to fund the grant. That check would go to Wingate into an escrow account. They would then administer the grant.
Can you guys see that message there?
I didn't see it.
I have something really high.
I have another meeting at 10 a.m. Is there any way to discuss Steve's contract now from Linear?
No,
The answer to that is no.
no. We're in the middle of this, so
We have her adjustments, we have her changes, so we can, I think that,
yes, Lynn, I
Yes,
did
Lynn.
share your updated, a grant agreement document.
Yep.
So, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did, thank you.
So,
I
and
think the
who
public
is
needs
Ju-
to know the clarification.
Well, who in the public would I communicate that to? I'm trying
You
to,
just did.
oh, okay, thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
we've been working hard to try
No,
and have
I
a
understand
process.
that, Carl, but what I'm saying is this has been a convoluted deal. It's been put off for several times.
Yes,
There have been several iterations of ownership, management, et cetera, and I think it's incumbent upon us to make sure the public understands exactly what we're doing.
And it's, to me, one of the reasons I think there's been a delay is the use of the 60,000 CPA grant from October 10th because of that agreement that was never completed. Could have been reason why Mr. Sullivan has delayed signing it, but there's nothing in this document that says it would be, we're using the 2010 CPA grant for payment.
that was the thing I started with back at the beginning. There's
So,
no,
I mean, there was nothing in here. Derek could ask it where our money is coming from, but there's nothing in this rental assistance that says where our money is coming
Correct.
from. So I can't find a reason for delaying signing this, because it's up to us to determine the funding source, not Mr. Sullivan.
It's up to Mr. Sullivan to protect the interests of the town and the taxpayers,
Yes, that's why this grant agreement is.
and that's why he's
Right.
making sure that all of the i's are
It
dotted
could
and the
very
t's
well,
are
you know
crossed.
what, to get rid of that, we can take it out of $137,000 we have available, and therefore take out CPA off the table
we
altogether.
still need the agreement with Wingate.
Yes, but if we control the $137,000, the $143,000, Mr. Sullivan can have an issue over using CPA funds because it is town and state funds, but if we use our own money, there is nothing he can do about it. Sorry, to be blunt with it.
I agree, but I still,
But
I can't execute
I
that contract.
believe this is being held up because of the funding source is in question, which is not part of this document.
I've invited him again to this meeting, he's not
Okay,
been.
never mind.
He's not available.
Yeah,
Okay,
Let's move forward right now.
all right, so, I'm continuing to press that issue. You've confirmed that you will issue whatever the appropriate tax document is to the individuals. We'll confirm with whomsoever at our town, either Rich or Derek or the accounting department, what that form is, and we'll get this agreement
and we
signed.
make sure that what the town says that form is the same thing as Wingate says that form is, to make sure we're in agreement that we both say the same numbers.
Correct.
Okay.
So I have a question. In terms of administration, if the town wants control of the $1,000 each going to the tenants, does this mean that the town is going to send a check or prepare the check for the tenant directly? Or is the intent that the $56,000 go first to Wingate and then they administer the $1,000 to each of the tenants?
The second option is what we agreed to. We will cut a
Got
check.
it. Okay, so.
Wingate
so if
Partners-
it is- Yeah, if it is the second option, then whoever it is that spoke to you about the W-9 is correct. Because the money is going to the business of Wingate, right? And then Wingate in turn will issue the 1099s to each individual tenant, and they receive the $1,000.
We do have a W-9 from Wingate already.
Okay. So if you do, then you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Other than
We'll let you know.
other than confirmation that you're gonna issue whatever the Mr.
Correct,
Sullivan wants to
correct.
make sure he's not on the hook for sending the tax forms to the individuals.
The other thing
Got
he
it.
wants to make sure is
Got it.
that the money actually
Yeah.
goes to the individuals
And-
and credit to the individuals.
That agreement requires a report from Wingate Partners certifying
Who got the credit?
and that
Credit
they
to
were
their rent.
qualified, that they were qualified under the DHCD guidelines.
Which brings me back to Mr. Denise's SHI question. It's Tuesday.
Giving away money shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah.
Giving away money from a municipality is extremely hard because you were required by law
I
to
understand
protect
it,
every
and
resident.
we are not going to do anything
I
without,
understand that, I'm just
doing
making
all
it,
that.
I get it.
we're trying to do good things here. I agree, Judith, we're not gonna do anything without.
Was your hair gray before you joined this committee?
No,
I didn't think so. Sorry.
okay,
Blame that on planning.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and summarize. We've got an agreement, we have a W-9 from
Wingate, yes, I
Wingate
have a
Partners.
W-9.
We have a contract with Wingate Partners to administer
The money,
grant distribution.
yes,
We've agreed that the transfer will be a single transfer to an escrow account at Wingate Partners, and I believe it says that in the contract, and that Wingate Partners will administer distribution to qualified renters, and that we will get a report back certifying that those distributions occurred, and that Wingate Partners will take care of distributing any tax documents
Yeah.
to the recipients.
Understood. Yeah,
All right,
I
and
think it's
then-
clear.
So I will work with Tom on clarifying the SHI. Just make sure when you leave, I have your contact information, please.
Tom?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Steven.
Steven.
and I
Steven.
want to confirm when the check is issued to Wingate Management Company LLC, 100 Wells Avenue, Newton, Mass. 02459, that is where the check is sent.
Let me just confirm with Jeanette. She can't speak, unfortunately.
Because that is the information on the W-9.
Excuse me. Pass it, this card.
Thank you. I can get in touch with her after the meeting.
Okay?
I'm aware that Judith has a hard stop, so I want to get through.
I'm waiting for her confirmation that that address is correct, but
All right.
I'm pretty sure it is.
All right. So then I need to just follow up with Derek to see what
We were
any
missing
of,
that one signature.
huh?
We're missing that one signature.
Yes, that appears to be the only remaining item.
Are we missing something, Judy? From a baker's point, with a baker's hat on?
Thank you. Okay, any more discussion? So the trust is fully committed to trying to get this rental assistance to these families in need. So we're working to that end, and we appreciate the support we're getting from Wingate Partners.
Yeah, and it sounds like we have to provide two things to you. One is the certificate of occupancy, and the other one is the SHI.
And Sandy is 100% correct. The grant award is not contingent on that, but we'll work on getting that to occur. Any more discussion on this topic? And
I
unfortunately,
think, yeah, the address is correct. Janelle just answered.
Thank you.
And then, providing the eligibility, that's not gonna be a problem. Except that she just wants to know what serves as eligibility. You just need to see the, the types of units that have been awarded with their, in each.
and they have to be income qualified, which they had to be to.
Correct,
to
they have to be
apply.
income qualified, that's correct.
I don't
Yeah.
wanna know the names.
And we don't want their names. We just want resident one, unit, the
Oh,
unit.
got it. Okay.
We don't want their
Yeah.
names. No.
Yeah. Each tenant goes through a pretty rigorous compliance application process. And so I guess, I'm just following it. I'll talk to Wingate about that.
Yeah,
see
but
how that can be
so-
provided.
The unit has to be a qualified unit, and the resident has to be income qualified, and that's what we've asked Wingate to certify when they, and what the award was. So, it's rental assistance, so if their rent is less than $1,000 a month, it could be,
It could be covered for 1 plus 2
yeah,
months.
could be 2 months or 3 months.
Credit
Got it,
toward which
got it.
rent.
Okay,
Right.
I think that's no problem. I think they can provide that certification.
Yeah. So, Jim, do you have any questions on the process?
No, I understand it pretty well.
And you're satisfied that we've gotten it nailed down? A lot of this happened when you were off the board, so, or off the trust.
Not much really changed, tell you the truth. We have internal things to discuss, which has nothing to do with our agreement at this point with Wingate.
Right. And giving the
So-
money out, so,
Correct. So I'm good as far as the discussion here. I think everybody understands, and anything that needs to get clarified or changed would easily be done between the group.
Great. And then I own the action item, and perhaps you can help. We can meet with Derek and figure out what his, as, not in your role on the trust, but your role on the
Right.
select board.
Not this week,
Okay.
not this week.
Well, I'm gonna be gone for the rest of the week. I have a funeral, so
Okay.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
gone for the rest of the week.
Okay, thank you. I'd be happy to.
Sandy, the only, well, that's not related to this. You're good. We,
Yes,
okay.
I am, once that's signed, I believe I have what is needed for the paper trail to get a check cut. Is that, yes,
Good. Okay.
Um,
We have to decide where the funds are coming from, ultimately.
yeah.
We'll do that internally. Okay. Thank you all. I think, do you have any more questions? I
I
apologize.
don't. I just want to thank you for processing this and having this hearing.
And who should be my primary point of contact?
You can keep contacting me.
Sure.
Jim,
Okay.
did you get all their names?
Thank you.
Yes, I did.
And they were all on the email chain as well, so.
I have the
Thank
three
you.
people here.
So,
Thank you.
if we, we're gonna keep this moving ahead. It's been slow.
Thank you very much.
And
Appreciate it.
thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Just so you know.
And I'm sorry you had to see how the sausage is made, so,
No worries.
To be included in this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
thank you.
We missed the
All right,
Bye-bye.
I'm sorry that Lynn had to leave, Steve. So-
Well, we did this, I remember.
Great, I will.
See you.
So, we're gonna move on to Chapel
bye,
Lane.
Steve.
The only item remaining, I think, on the Chapel Lane Award is the form of agreement, which Sandy prepared a draft, thank you. And Lynn, I sent it to her, she updated some information, changed who the grant,
And to be honest, it is the exact same copy with some name changes, which was done by CPC to Steve. So it was a well-known document that's been used as, I don't know, signed somewhere down the line, I don't have the signed copy,
yeah,
but
we
that was the
we
agreement
felt that
that we
was,
used.
that form of agreement made perfect sense to us, so.
So,
I just wanna make sure that Rich has a last shot at it, cause you're using it in a different venue.
I agree. As soon as we agree, I will forward it to Rich
it's for form,
for form, and then we can get it.
Yeah.
Who will sign this agreement?
Well,
It's on the bottom.
yeah.
I sign it and Derek has to sign it as well.
If we're using CPC funds.
No,
No, this is our form of agreement
this is
with
the 50,000 for depot, which is our funds,
our funds.
not
There's-
CPA
Not
funds.
CPA funds.
I mean, sorry, for chapel, what did I
Yes.
say?
Depot.
Sorry, chapel. So it's Steve's affordable housing chair and town administrator,
Great.
because these are our funds that we got from,
So here's what I'm gonna do.
Us.
it's
It's
us.
us.
We're a separate entity.
Right, I agree.
But I do have town administrator on here, should it be taken off? Because theoretically, he's on everything that represents the town. Are we so independent that we don't need his signature on this?
That's part of the question that Rich is gonna answer.
We're a separate entity.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but I think he's gonna say take it off, because it's not CPC, which is,
Okay.
but I would suggest that you get Rich to bless taking Derek off.
I will put that in my request to
Because
him,
I believe Derek signed the funds we gave to Latham,
which didn't come from CPC.
which
That's
did not come from CPC.
CPC, it was one document.
It was one document.
And because funds did come from CPC as well as ours,
Yes.
we made one document with signatories from both
All right.
the
I will
town
confirm.
and
Okay, so that's,
the board.
yes.
I will confirm who the signatories are. I will send it, actually, what I'll do, I think, is send it to Rich without Derek's name and say, do I need to add Derek? Or something. I'll get the question
So
there.
if I, Did everybody get a copy of Lynn's red marks?
Yes. I didn't have any problems with her clarifications.
Hold on.
Did you?
My only concern was make sure that Rich signs to form,
Right.
assents as to form.
Let's see, restricted.
I mean, so, to me, the only big changes on here is using the right name to identify the project.
Correct. That's, and that's what I think should change, yes, which is fine.
And also 6 income restricted rental units.
As opposed to affordable housing, yeah, to me, that's,
All of them are income restricted. Before it said 6 rental units. She put in 6
Six, okay.
capitalized income restricted,
Thank
because that's
you,
what the
yeah.
application was
Yeah.
for.
Yes.
That's important, and thank you.
so those, I can easily make those changes and resubmit this.
Now I have a copy of the Word document. I'll submit it to Rich with those changes.
Yeah, just
Okay, but I will change my master.
Oh, okay. Or do you want to?
I'll change my master and send it to you.
Send it to me and then I'll
Yes.
forward it to Rich.
Yes, because I don't want 2 versions sitting out there.
Great, fine, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Question for Ms. Whiteside, in your other role, I could send it to Rich directly by email. Do I need to enter it into the contract system? Which of the other document with Wingate is in the contract system.
You will need to ask Rich that question too.
Okay, all right, because Patty will help me with that, I just,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, just make sure,
If Derek's gonna sign it, it's gonna.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So for process, when you say enter into the contract system, do you mean you physically entering or just providing the documents to accounting to process the payment and to review?
I don't mean either of those things.
What do you
So
mean?
There is when I say the contract system, it's a workflow management system that the town uses for administering contracts. So the process that I would follow would be to give it to Patty Neal, who will enter it into the workflow system, because she said she would help me, and I think she's an entry point. Ken would have done it in the past, but it gets a number, and it can be tracked. So, and I'm only gonna do that if Rich tells me I need to do that, and if Derek's gonna sign, because Derek won't sign it unless it goes through that system. It's a workflow process. Does that answer your question? And accounting it will be visible to them.
Right. We just processed it paper-wise, and it went from us to accounting. Whether there were numbers.
This is,
Hold-
we're not
wait,
talking about the
let me
award, we're
finish
talking
here.
about the grant agreement.
All right, we'll just continue. Go
No, no,
ahead.
I'm trying to answer your question, so I wanna make sure we're talking about the same thing. This is the grant agreement which we signed with Steve, or whomsoever, that then would authorize us to send a check. I'm not talking about putting the request for funds distribution into the contract system. I'm talking about putting the grant agreement into the contract system.
You know what,
No, I'm trying to be,
I'm not sure if they've created, I guess we'd call them a vendor when I worked for the state. And then, and that's would be related to the the W-9 that they provide. And then when they process the paperwork and the check, they'd have something to relate it to. Is that what you're,
I think that's.
okay, well, I think we're on the same
I
page.
think it's just ticking and tying
Right.
the town's process, which I don't
And-
fully understand.
Like I said, we used to just give all the paperwork to Judy Lazone, and they took care of the entry and stuff, so.
Right.
However it gets done, I understand. Thank you.
And again, to be honest, Jim, I don't completely understand the black box. I'm just looking at the entry points that I've been asked to hit.
Yeah, it's all right. So I'm good with the contract as presented and as
So can
we've
we
just
just
reviewed.
Okay. So-
I make a motion to accept it as,
Amended.
amended.
Second
Second.
by Sandy, motion by Jim, seconded by Sandy, all in favor?
Can,
Oh, stop.
just a clarification, do you mean as amended and reviewed by Rich?
Amended and reviewed and approved by our
For-
town,
as
by
defined.
our council,
Thank you,
okay?
Okay.
is that?
And I own the action of, once Sandy sends me a clean copy to send it to town council, I will resolve how to get it into the town's process. So, motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Sandy, aye,
Whiteside, aye.
Manise, aye.
and Schultz, aye. Motion made and carried. Do you have, before we close business, did we get you everything you need today? Any questions?
As long as Lynn gets a copy of what we just talked about, that'd be good.
Yeah.
If she has questions for you guys.
Did she have other questions that we didn't get into?
Not that I'm aware of, but I didn't talk to her last night, so.
Okay.
we were
I
expecting-
will also call her afterwards and see,
You can reach out to us, tell her where we're at. what we're
Yep,
doing.
I will. Yeah.
What's the, timeframe for, Mr. Bowen? Ballpark?
He's here Thursdays, so if I get it in today, he should
He's
be.
pretty good at turning things around
Yeah.
like for form.
Just in case Lynn asks, you know what I mean?
I would
So
say
I
no more than
asked
a
the
week.
question.
We're gonna shoot to have it done by next week for you, okay? And you have a couple more weeks before you're closing, right?
Yeah, we got a few other closers to do.
Right, so my question was gonna be, have you received funding from the bank?
Yeah, we got a commitment letter from the bank, we're good on that side. Yeah,
Did you want a copy of it for the
It
records?
would be good for us to receive a copy of that,
sure, we can have Lynn. She
that
can
they've
forward-
approved the funding for the project.
She can forward you a copy of that letter.
Hang on. What is it I'm looking for from Lynn, Jim, the bank funding?
We want a
Commitment letter
The
from the
commitment
bank.
letter from the bank.
commitment, approved commitment.
Funding commitment letter from the bank.
Cape Cod Five.
And that everything's been, the funds were released to you.
Okay, great. You guys were great. I wish your traffic delay had taken you longer, but why don't you come up to the table and we'll introduce. So, any more on Chapel Lane?
I'm good.
Okay, Sandy?
I'm done.
Judith? Good, okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks, appreciate everything.
All right, see you, thank you.
All right, so you have 5 minutes, 7 minutes, so quickly introduce yourselves.
Sure.
So, before you get into any detail, Judith is now, and if you could just quickly bring her a broad overview of the
Yeah.
project,
Sure.
and then we can discuss.
Is there anyone on camera that we're presenting to, or just
No.
presenting to the?
I think everybody on camera has
Go
left.
on.
Yeah,
Done,
no,
okay.
we'll be
That
brief.
keeps it
Hi,
simple.
Angela, Josh, husband-wife duo, we're local developers.
First name, last name,
You got it.
company
Angela
name.
and Josh Nutella. We are TZ Construction and Property Management is our company name. We are local developers on the South Shore. The high-level update to bring you up to speed, we started engaging the trust, this committee, last fall. It's before the holiday season. We own property at 4 West Street. It's a current duplex that we rent out to tenants, and it sits on some land. So we brought the trust along at the end of last year to say, hey, we have some land, we have some high-level ideas on development, 40B lit project. And it was really loose conversation, we're very collaborative, so we really had a collaborative discussion on how many buildings, how many units, what's the town's needs, et cetera.
Possibility of development, yeah,
Yeah,
that's all.
exactly.
Rough.
It was a concept.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
concept. It was a concept. Fast forward coming out of that meeting, we then engaged Ken Buckland. We had about 2 to 3 conversations with Ken and Josh, who on his team. to really start to put more pen to paper on how many buildings, how many units, address any concerns Ken may have, et cetera. We've also held a neighborhood meeting a couple of weeks back. Pretty much, I'd say the whole neighborhood showed up. And it was
And
a
you did
good
invite us,
discussion.
unfortunately, we were all tied up.
Understood, no
Yeah.
problem. And we could fill in later in the conversation the details of that meeting, but it was a productive conversation.
That's good.
So that's the high level where we are. Basically, the current plans that we have to share with you all, to seek your input and feedback, shows our current building being a duplex, which would be 2 3-bedrooms. We would then build on 2 new buildings on the property. One building would be 8 1-beds, the second building would be 6 2-beds. In total, the development is 16 units, 26 bedrooms, 28 parking spots.
How many affordable or income?
Be 25% at 80% AMI,
Yeah.
is the plan right now. There you go. I don't know how best to do this. I don't
You
know
know,
if I
I'm
should
just
do
gonna
Vanna
quickly
White or.
pull it up.
Okay.
So this would
Yeah.
be the existing duplex
Yeah,
that
this-
we have today. We'd add on, and
This is
then these
basically
would be the
just
2 new
the
buildings.
addition onto the side to get the appropriate square footage to meet the state's requirements for a 3-bedroom. Right now, there's not appropriate square footage, so this is about a 500 square foot addition, so a minor addition.
How big is the property?
Current property is about 1,800 square feet.
No, the land.
It's, no, it's a little under 1.4, it's 1.38 acres.
Thank you.
And we have percentage, we have our site plan here, percentage of covered area and everything else too, so we can pass it along.
Yes, if you could send updated plans.
Yeah, we will do electronic copies post
That'd be
meeting.
great.
Exactly, we're gonna send these creative
I know you
concepts, how
have-
about that creative concept would
I wanted
actually be
you to-
better, just to show everything,
Got enough to,
Yeah, I just.
and then let me
Googled.
see, can I, the overhead view?
okay,
Yeah,
great. And the WIP program has to go before you guys anyway.
I know.
Judith is chair of the select board. so-
Okay, great,
Oh.
Judith. So we'll hopefully see you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
So
I
that's okay. No problem. We'll see you
I
soon.
wasn't expecting this to go quite.
No worries,
Thank you, Judith.
Thank you. Nice
So-
meeting
Same.
likewise.
you. Yeah.
I just wanna give them the concept, cause we've given them a couple of the building concepts, so I just wanna give them the overall, so they have kinda like frame of reference in space, where these buildings are on the land, et cetera.
That was a quick.
So where's your
super high
property
level, but-
bounds there?
Property bounds right here, so, right,
That line
actually,
going, I see it,
site,
I saw it. No, I saw it on there,
Okay.
it's just that white line
Yeah.
between,
yeah, that's exactly,
Yeah.
so it's all on the left.
on the left, yes,
And
this is the other
The
side.
existing house is on the, or is that another property,
This is
someone
another
else's property?
And this is another property, that's what May Terrace, or what's that name of that circle there?
Yeah.
Where they have a couple condos, I believe they are.
It's all right, I just,
Yeah.
It's a wooded,
Perspective.
it's a pretty wooded lot though,
Yeah.
and obviously,
And
our
you- and you-
goals,
yeah, all right, and you're proposed converting the existing structure into 2 3-bedrooms?
it's a duplex now, it would stay a duplex, the 3 bedrooms
Duplex.
that we would require, that were required.
So it's gonna be 2 3-bedrooms,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then you're gonna have 8 1-bedrooms,
Yep.
right?
Another
And
building.
6 2-bedrooms.
Correct.
Yes,
So that'll be a total count of 16, right?
exactly.
Correct.
Correct.
On that property.
16 units, correct.
You're recommending 25% at the 80%?
That's the requirement,
That's a minimal requirement.
yes, minimal, yes.
Right, so 25% at 80 AMI is what you're, okay. All right, I'm good, I just want to get all that understood, thank you.
Yeah. So it's been, I guess to fill you in some, feedback, the neighbors, it really was a good, healthy discussion. Of course, listen, nobody likes developments. But at the same time, they understood where we were coming from. Their main, I would say, concern, which we think we of course can address, is the quality of tenants that would live in their neighborhood, which we explained they would go through a rigorous process, just, as we heard in the previous discussion, to qualify, application, et cetera. And they felt, good in that regards. Of course, the neighbor here had said, hey, would you mind putting up a fence? Right now, there's no fence. We would appreciate a barrier, no problem. But other than that, I mean, it truly, we didn't get a ton of anger or a lot of pushback. It was more of curiosity on who would be living in their neighborhood, because that neighborhood did seem to have a lot of family members that, right, as you guys I'm sure are aware of that area. But good discussion. Anything else I'm missing from the neighborhood meeting? Our consultant was there who presented the plans with us, but,
No, they appreciated, I mean, they appreciated that we were trying to be forthright with communication.
Yes.
And that's been kind of our MO from the beginning on all of this, is to gather feedback, gather input, as much as we can. Obviously, we still need to make this a viable project, but our goal is communication first, and kind of whatever we can do to obviously reduce the impact to the neighborhood. I mean, that's what we're looking to do. That's the whole goal here.
yes.
And gather feedback from all different branches and all different areas, the community overall.
How many attended?
Ooh, I don't know, I
was
don't
at
have to,
home.
we had
It
a
was
roll call, so we could actually get you.
Close
no,
to
probably-
10.
Oh, you
probably
have a
10.
roll
Yeah,
call,
we-
Yeah.
okay.
About 8 to 10 folks, I'd say,
Yeah,
attended.
that's
So
probably
they
fair.
had a sign-in sheet, right?
Yes.
I believe so,
Yep.
yeah.
We have to give it to Dean, our consultant.
Okay, and Dean couldn't make it here today, so sorry, we might not have every detail, but we can follow up with you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Yeah. Ken's been a wonderful partner. Now Ken, he's obviously not on the call here, I don't want to speak for him, but he's been a wonderful partner. We've gone back and forth on density, number of units, and we think we've landed on a collaborative number of units. And did Ken have any feedback besides density units? I think again, we land on the plane with him on, but anything else that he had?
Not in particular here. No, I mean, I think he was just concerned, as everyone is, about sightlines between buildings and abutters and all of that, and just, if, I think he brought up, actually, potentially a landscape plan.
Yes.
It's a little early, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, but, he might want us to think a little bit more ahead on, the landscape
Yeah,
plan.
those would be all requirements for your
Sure,
application.
of course.
Correct, yes.
For permits.
That's ZBA, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is gonna go to the ZBA.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
Although the planning board will have an opportunity to
Review.
yeah.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
I don't think he was making that a requirement, he was just saying,
No,
put a
it
little
will be a
thought into that.
requirement for your application with the ZBA.
Yes,
Of course,
that we
of
are.
course,
We have a
but
second development in Pembroke and,
I think he just wanted us to give some thought to it
Oh,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
the more you could get
ahead.
ahead, the smoother your process will be.
Yeah. So that's where we are. So, Ken had said after the neighborhood, did I miss something?
No, I just wanted to make before we move on, I just wanna
Yeah.
make a clarification too, and our goal is to do this through the LIP, application project, so, I don't know if you were saying the ZBA because, you're thinking a standard 40B, but we would like to, present this to the select board and go,
Oh, the select board will also have to,
yeah.
To accept it.
to accept it as the
Yeah.
LIP program, yes.
And then it still goes through the ZBA, right?
Exactly,
And
exactly,
then the building inspector, all the normal permitting stuff.
exactly. So I just wanted to make that clear, sorry, I didn't mean to catch
No.
I
you.
don't think LIP programs go to the planning board.
No,
So that's basically where we are, all, Ken had said as a next step coming out of the neighborhood meeting was to recircle the wagons with the trust. Seek any feedback that you all have.
And it's good because Jim and Judith weren't here for your, and it's unfortunate she
Yeah.
had to go, but.
Yeah, no,
So Jim will have a lot of good, and Sandy, I don't know if you remember or you have any.
I remember when they first came here.
yeah.
Oh, you were here when they
It's
first
okay.
came?
Jim was, yes.
I think so.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
My mind is,
And more than this is not, we're more looking at, breaking ground next spring, year 25, more than likely, we'll see how things
See how
go.
things go.
Exactly.
So, any questions, feedback, concerns that this team may have?
Just shutting us out,
Have you given some thought for funding from CPC?
We are open, we are ears on what that could mean.
Well, there is a component of Community Preservation Act that allows for, funding for affordable units. My recommendation is go to the town under boards, under Community Preservation Committee, and look at the requirements and what might be needed. The town has softened for funding for private development, so it could very well be a source to consider.
Okay,
We have very limited funds here, so that is a
You
possibility.
listened to our discussion about our funds.
Yes.
but-
Yeah, well, that's the only, yes, absolutely. I mean, that's a great suggestion, and we will do that. I think just in a concept of where we come from, we like to do smaller impact, local projects.
As
And we tr-
As Steve does for Depot and
Yes.
Chapel, yes.
and we like to keep them simple. So, for the town and for our own sanity, quite frankly. So we would absolutely look into that, and we would look to, keep it simple and keep things moving. So I think we're pretty easy to work with, pretty low key, so. But yes, I don't know, in terms of timing, if we were to, be blessed enough to talk to the select board, would we kind of coincide that process in the same, process? Or would that make us maybe more eligible for CPC funds if, we had the blessing from the select board, let's say? I'm sorry, I'm just asking off the cuff
I'm
here.
trying to think, I don't think it makes a correlation
No.
between it. What we'd have to do is
It
submit
wouldn't
the
be a
case to town meeting, and town meeting would have to approve the issuing of the CPA funds.
It wouldn't be a, actual project under a lip until it's been approved.
Well, that's LIP, I'm talking, for the local initiative. LIP.
Right, that's,
Yeah,
right,
but I'm thinking,
but it has to be approved through the
yeah,
select board before it becomes an actuality. Otherwise, it's not a low-income development, right? It'd have to go 40B or
Yeah.
some other process.
okay.
LIP is like a friendly 40B in a sense.
I'm just, don't remember ever having that as a criteria for issuing CPA funds, but that's fine.
That's what I was, one, asking, and then, first part of the question, then two, part of the question was just, I guess, would it be, more favorable with the town, essentially, if we were working with the town, if we were, if this was an approved project, would that make us more likely to receive funding, maybe, potentially?
What would it be, how would it be affordable if it's not an approved project?
It would still be a 40B. When I say not approved, I would say not approved by the select board. Then it would, be I think a standard 40B would be our only route. Again, our goal is to not, go that route. Our goal is to work with the town and have this project be a project that the select board can stand behind and approve, right? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this. So yeah, and it sounds like the funding is there regardless, but again, we're trying to fit, what the community needs the best that we can.
Would you be seeking state funding assistance also?
I don't believe so. That's not been in part of our conversation, so.
I'm just
Yeah,
a question.
yeah.
I
Would
think
that
other
complicate
applicants-
things?
I think other applicants have done that.
Okay.
And worked with different groups, and you would talk with Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities.
Okay.
well, we should ask Dean, our
Yeah, speak with your
consultant,
consultant.
Okay.
and see, thank you for
I was
bringing
just
that up.
wondering.
Is
Yeah.
that what DHCD became? Is that the new
Right.
term for it? Okay.
Okay.
That's why I didn't recognize it.
The
I can never
acronyms.
remember the new acronym for them.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kyle?
I have no further questions, thank you.
Okay,
No, I'm just saying, thank you.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, great, thank you, I just wanted to again bring you guys along. In regards to next steps, with meeting with the select board,
We would like, essentially, if this is something that, you
Yeah.
feel is a viable project,
Yeah.
we'd like,
A letter of support.
I thought I wrote a letter of support already.
Maybe, I hope not,
in
'cause
my
that would
dream
look-
maybe, Carl, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember,
think it
Carl,
was too
I
early.
don't think so, I think it was too early, it was too early, we had to do some more legwork with Ken. So if you all agree, and, you know, I don't know if you vote on that or whatnot, but we of course would appreciate that greatly, and then from there, hopefully we can move forward.
So you're looking at 16 units,
Correct,
of which 25% will be will be 80%
AMI,
AMI. They
Yeah.
keep the letters,
yeah.
alphabet soup.
so we're looking at 4 affordable units.
Hmm.
8 one-bedrooms?
And again, this is a rental, just so we're
Yeah,
clear.
okay.
8 one-bedrooms, 6 two-beds,
Mhm.
and then we'll have 2
2
three-beds on
three-beds.
that duplex, you got it. And
And if, because it is rental, then all of the 16 units will count toward the SHI?
correct.
Yes.
How many allowed, by right on that property?
By right, I don't know, I think the
Is that a
zoning is
multiple
R
residential, or is that-
sixty. Yeah,
Which zoning district is it? It's
it's
in
R 60,
R60.
so it's probably single family or duplex, I believe.
Yeah, I'm looking at the zoning.
Yeah, so that's basically you can have what you have on it, right?
Which is why they would have to go to zoning for variance,
Right,
for density.
right, but I'm just looking at
Oh, that's the other
the
thing.
increase from, you're going from a density, allowed density of, say, 2 units to 16 units. That's a big increase.
Exactly, and obviously
An
that's
impact, too.
why we're, you know, why we're going through this channel, but even still, you know, if you look at our setbacks, you know, all of our setbacks are, some of the other items on this, we're trying to fit as
Yeah.
many of those criteria, height
I'm
is a big
looking
one.
at, well, personally, the number of units, affordable, I think 25% is a minimal, and you're at the highest
Yeah,
amount.
the requirement under the LIP program is can't exceed 35 feet on a 5,000 square foot lot. Dwelling shall have 75 to 1,000 square feet footprint. Has to be deed restricted. I'm looking for the setback lot.
So,
Yeah, so you have to meet all the, shall comply with pre-existing non-conforming setbacks that existing properties in the same zoning. Ken would have advised you on all this stuff, but that's in our bylaws.
Yeah.
so I'm just looking at either a mix of affordabilities into, personally, or more than the minimal 25%. Because 80%, you have 2 3-bedrooms.
Yep,
I mean, it's not bad, and for the 2 bedrooms, it's not bad. I mean, the rental income's still pretty good. I mean, we haven't seen pro forma, how much you can make on top of it is a profit in an annual and/or a development phase. So that's just my opinion, because that's one of the things we like to do is see a mix or a greater percentage.
Yeah,
The
so,
previous one was 6, all restricted at the 80%.
okay,
yeah, so in R60, two-family dwellings are not allowed. So that's where you would need. your
pre-existing
variance.
non-conforming, yeah, that's the duplex is there, I guess, yeah. So,
But you're gonna build new ones, so,
well, the duplex is going to continue to exist.
oh, the others are not gonna be duplexes?
The other 2 buildings are a 6 and an 8.
Well, they're more than duplexes.
More than
Well,
duplexes.
They're not allowed.
Exactly, yes. We understand, obviously.
I'm just explaining why you would end up having to go to the ZBA to
Right.
get the variance.
Period.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting, there are no negatives there, I was only
Okay,
trying to figure
Yeah.
out why you would have to go to the ZBA.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me.
So, you know, look, we hear, so what we hear a lot of the time is obviously on the density. When we first came here, I know we had talked about this in terms of a higher percentage as well. We're open to that, we are, at the end of the day. but what we found is that through every layer, through the process that we go, it's, I guess I just wanna say, what are we looking for? What do we need the most help with? I need that almost more to be defined, so that we're not just endlessly whittling away what is a smaller project. I know it's a high density for this lot, but a small project into something that becomes unbuildable by the time we get through it.
That's not up to us.
Yeah, no, Ken is your best,
And it's up to the zoning board of appeals,
the ZBA. so-
public input, public hearing.
But Ken is also
notifications.
your interface through to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I guess what I'm saying is, we're open to these things, we're not, again, this is why we're having these conversations, but,
You were asking what should be your point of advice. Ken
Okay.
is a good starting point for a point of advice.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
you need to know the bylaws, but,
yep, and Ken has seen this, he's aware of this and the density. Right, Josh?
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how Mr. Akabazi feels about density issues, but I
Yeah.
actually combined Jim and Nazi, Ekalazi and Akabachi, the two members.
Is that the select board or the ZBA?
That's the ZBA.
Yeah, okay.
Judith is the select board, or the chair of the select board.
Okay,
All right, so density is gonna be something you're gonna continue to hear.
yeah,
Great that you're going through the LIP program. But
Do we want to consider a letter of support at this point?
I'm not sure, I mean, I know what you're proposing, but I've also stated that we're looking at minimal percentage at the highest affordable that you can get. And I understand that it all comes down to dollars and cents. And if you're doing it under an affordable program, I'd have to go look at the guidelines related to LIP.
Would you be considering 60% of AMI as opposed to 80?
Well,
make it more
I mean,
affordable?
something, or more affordable at the 80% within, project. Cause it's a pretty good rent, you receive a pretty good rent. And we don't have a pro forma, I don't know if you've gone through your figures, what your costs are, your building costs and everything else. Then your return, blah, 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 and you're in it for a business.
Yeah, the LIP program it says 80% AMI is the requirement.
Minimally.
No,
Right.
that,
So, and what I'm saying is, I like to see, I mean, the density's 16, you're gonna have 16 on 1.3, so you're down, I don't know what it would be. 16 and 1.5, I don't know. It's like 2,500 square foot per unit right?
It's less dense than most 40B projects. I understand,
Yeah.
we're in a residential area, I understand the existing bylaws, you know what I mean?
think, yeah.
But at the end of the day, again, we're open, but, just to cut this down preemptively before we even have something. And I should say that we have, so these building concepts, are shared concepts with another project we're doing in Pembroke. We're mixing in 1 and 3 bedrooms to get our 3-bedroom requirement in that instance, so the floor plans don't, overlay exactly. But we've already had these concepts approved by the state, through DHCD or whatever they're called now. So we know they're viable concepts, we're getting full architectural drawings, we're going to the ZBA later this month, with that town. And so we've gone down the road with these concepts a little further, so they're not, I guess I just wanna preface it, they're not, brand, like out of the pie in the sky type concepts, right? We've gone through some review with them. We know that the numbers work at 80%. Again, I have some flexibility in this, but I kinda need to know, almost from the town, what it would take to endorse this project at the end of the day. What do we need to do? I mean, again, we would much rather work with the town, but, I mean, the issue that we ran into is we took a building off of our project to reduce our density, and then the first question from the select board was, how much more can you reduce the density? And it
Was that
became
here?
no, I'm sorry, I'm just saying from previous other experience.
okay.
Other experience, so, it's hard for me to make promises, you know what I mean, when we're still in the phase of concepts and designs. And I hope that the actions we've taken thus far have shown that we're willing and open, you know, to work with the town and hear feedback.
Which I just did.
Okay, so you're saying you're looking for 60% of AMI?
I didn't say,
No, that was my number.
Okay.
You're looking for a little bit of a higher mix
I mean, I believe 70% is an
or a
option
greater
too.
number
of
of a
affordable.
higher percentage AMI. You're at the bottom, minimal 25% at the highest AMI,
Okay,
right? So I'd like to see things either have a greater mix or a larger number, greater mix of the
so if we went to
AMIs or a larger.
70%?
Well, here's,
You follow what I'm saying? Maybe you can
Well,
explain.
that's what I'm
is it
saying.
possible to give us more than 25%
I-
affordable?
Okay,
Could you give us
That's what I'm saying.
30% affordable, maybe
Okay.
3 at
Or
60
40,
and 3
50,
at 80?
80%.
yeah, I'm trying to
Can we
figure out what
just
the math
gi-
is on.
Can you give us a little
So, how many
better,
You
more
can only
units is
do
that?
that. You have to
Yeah.
go through.
No,
the
I
numbers.
get
No,
it, I get it, but.
just something to consider, because what is Jim saying?
I-
Yeah,
Everybody's
the best
picking the
you can do,
low-hanging
you know,
fruit.
You have to give us 25%, and you're chosen to go with 80% AMI, why not
So,
60 or something? Give us a little bit more
I gotcha.
affordability in the
Or give us
project.
40% at 80% AMI.
Well, some
You
give us
know,
more affordable.
Yeah,
okay,
Because
so,
it's a big density increase, and towns might agree to it, I don't know.
Okay.
And I could only speak as a resident at their meeting.
And honestly, 80% of AMI is awful high, considering we're in Boston zone. It makes it impossible.
yeah, so if we did something, like if I took basically a combination of what you both just said. If I took 30% at 70% AMI, for instance, now you're 5 units versus 4, which we have to do anyway, and then we're at 70% AMI, or are we saying that's not gonna, that's why I'm,
This is our suggestion, you have to
Okay.
make the numbers work.
okay.
And we're not an approval
We're
body.
we're not an approval body,
You're not
just
asking
But I-
for-
make it sound sweeter, is
Okay,
a good way to
got
put it.
Got it. But I guess what I'm saying is, when I say something like that, right, it sounds like, that doesn't really scratch the itch that the town has. That's the feedback I'm getting, and this is real conversation now, so I appreciate it. Is it really like, I don't think people, like, I really don't think this product is gonna serve our community at 80 or even 70%? You feel like it's more the 60, or are we saying we want more, really more that will serve our community better? Which of the side, and again, this is just your feedback, I know we're not making any
Well,
decisions.
if you're gonna ask us, we're gonna say, make it all affordable, make it all affordable
Sure.
at 60%
we just gotta go and do the
AMI.
numbers and have a threshold, and what
Yes.
can't we
Yeah.
get past, and what can we do? So the net of it is, we hear the feedback, we appreciate the
Yeah.
feedback, let us go back and do some numbers, and we probably have some flexibility, we will not have a lot, but we'll have some flexibility. Construction costs are high, really high.
Interest rates are.
Interest rates are, woo, so, it's dollar and cents, as you said, Jim. But let us go back and do the numbers, and what that will allow us to do when we have the numbers in our back pocket, then we have the discussion with the select board, and we hear their feedback, which will probably be similar, we'll be better prepared to say, yes, we could increase it by X, Y, Z units, because we'll still be profitable,
I
but
think
we
that's a
can't go
good
past
takeaway.
this.
The
Yes.
more,
Yes.
the more you can communicate
Yep.
with surety, your
Yes.
ability to be flexible.
Sure.
Yep,
We can't make it work
right,
at these numbers.
yes.
Sure.
We could make it work, it's less attractive at
Yep.
these numbers.
Yep, exactly,
I
and that will be
understand.
our homework, and so what we can say is, obviously we would love a letter of support, because that just shows the town further supporting us, not approving it by any means, right, but supporting to the next step. But we can say that we will have flexibility, we just have to go back and do our numbers
And we
as
will
to how many
expect
more
to-
units.
We'll expect to have this, you know,
Yeah.
as something that's brought up in the select board as
Yes,
well, I
we
would assume,
prepared.
you know?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly, exactly. So do we feel that we could have a letter of support, or are we still feeling like, no, not yet, in understanding that we will have flexibility and more affordable? We just don't know how many units in particular that will be just yet.
And/or any conclusion that we come to within this, you know, within these four walls, I don't know if it'll matter at the end of the day, because again, it's not an approval, right? So they're gonna have their own, the select board is gonna have their own feedback, which goes back to my original concern, which is making promises and then making promises on top of promises on top of promises, and it just becomes unviable and no one wins, you know what I mean? So we're hear you, we are absolutely open, so I will confirm that we are open to either dropping AMI and or increasing the percentage, and or some combination of both. How about that? Would that be good enough to suffice, or do we have to come up with some sort of specifics?
I'm fine with the consideration.
Like I said, I'm just, from perspective, it's nice to see a mix or have a greater percentage of the units at the higher AMI. Everybody comes in with a minimal, not everybody. The Chapel Lane project is all at the 80%. They got an award through DHCD with, by partnering with Turning Point of the Wareham Area Committee for the Homeless of close to $500,000, $450,000.
Those are ways you can buy down
That's
your
what I'm
costs by
trying-
getting
Yeah.
grants.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And the greater your percentages
Yeah.
of the affordability, either where they land on the affordability spectrum, 60-80%. With them, I would think with the town, the greater the funding and,
yes.
so,
yes.
Okay.
and you said you were working with them through the project in Pembroke?
Yeah, they've approved it, what's her name,
And did you request funding for that?
we did not request funding for that,
Okay.
no.
So you might talk with your consultant
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
to help offset costs.
Sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
that makes it easier for you to be profitable and meet the
Yeah.
affordable.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we will, we'll ping
It's good
our
feedback.
consultant, that really is. And so, yeah, we'll just reiterate that we will, of course, consider a higher percentage of more affordable units. I mean, with that consideration, thank you for your support and the
And
consideration.
we're also not
um,
taking CPA, you know, funding in the other projects, we're not even requesting it.
No.
So I think it, you know, it behooves us to at least ask the question, right? But that project is being done at 25%, at 80% AMI, so, you
Where's
know. The Pembroke project I was talking about. But we haven't taken on funding, so we are funded, we are able
that a
to
lip?
build. That's a lip as well, yeah. That's actually the only lip in town history. First time and we'll be meeting the 10% of the town with that project, the first friendly one, go figure.
Good.
So,
Just made a couple notes so we don't forget.
yeah.
Well, what do you think, Mr. Schultz?
That if we wanted to write a letter of support, we could be somewhat high level, not talk about the number of units, not talk about density, but support the concept of a LIP program in town to further our objectives to provide affordable housing, without speaking to density or number of units or.
Yeah, and that can be done at the ZBA hearing.
Right, and we
By
could
individuals.
always contribute input to the ZBA when the hearing comes up. We could write our letter of input to the ZBA when the hearing comes up. Recommending that they do 100% and 30% AMI or whatever, whatever we wanna recommend to the ZBA.
I make a motion, we create, that Carl Schultz sends a letter of support for 4 West Street and for their project of affordable housing. Do you want anything else?
And
It is 4 West Street, right?
It
Four,
is.
the number 4, West Street.
Yes.
And under the LIP program,
Yes.
creating affordable units for the
Yeah,
town of Wareham.
under lit, affordable, yes,
Yeah, I'll,
that's my motion.
do you have a second?
And it's gonna be pretty much as you stated that, support of the concept.
Right, we're not gonna talk
local
about,
mission
We're not
projects.
talking number of units, we're not talking AMI, we're just talking the concept of affordable housing units at 4 West Street.
we support the projects
Yep,
that
yep.
further affordable housing, and we think using the LIP program is a great thing,
Right,
that concept.
because that way we're not saying we support your density, we support anything else.
Nope,
Right.
just,
You
that's,
can send
And
it
I,
to
what
us.
I'll do, and we won't deliberate, but I'll send you each a
Yeah,
draft
I get you.
individually, and you can
Yes.
individually comment
Correct.
back to me. And it's not a
we
deliberation,
certainly don't want to break the open meeting law.
we don't.
So I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And Mr. Manise?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So who should I, once I get this drafted, I'll send it to you, Angela?
Please.
Okay.
Yes, Carl, please, and we appreciate
Yeah, thank
your
you.
concept support, and our homework is gonna be to see how we can increase
Yeah.
the affordable units.
So
We
any-
will do that due
And
diligence.
we'll look into some of the funding sources
Yes.
that they
Great.
suggested.
That could buy down your
Yes.
cost and make it easier
Yes.
to
We
use.
appreciate it,
Yeah, we do appreciate
Because
that.
if you come here, we're always gonna say we want 100%
Of
at
course.
30% AMI.
And we would love to provide it. We would love
And
to do
maybe-
that.
And maybe we should
Um,
talk further about that with regards to the town and how that might look
Yeah.
in terms of financial buy down, you know, in the
I'm
state.
not sure your neighbors would appreciate.
Well, that was the other thing, we have a very real concept about creating something that is, you know,
Has to
also
be harmonious,
integrates with
has to be
you know.
harmonious
Well,
with,
you know, what was Dean saying, that affordable housing, you know, the average income is
This is
still.
what he was getting at,
yes.
it's Boston rents and
You know,
everything else,
it's a misconception, it's,
and the other problem we have in town, and I don't,
Yeah.
what kind of, does GATRA run out there? Will you have transportation at the site?
No.
No, so there's no public
At
transportation.
this time.
At this time.
But Getra's always changing their.
No, I understand it. That's one of the
But
other
you have
problems
town
with.
water,
yes,
And
you'll
you
have
have
to do your
sewers.
own sewer,
Oh, you're gonna do
Mhm,
septic,
correct.
that's
there is
right.
no septic out that
Yeah.
way.
correct.
yeah,
We
it's
knew
all
that.
private.
Webby
Yeah,
has that in the
yeah,
plans.
and that's,
Yeah.
there's
Have you,
provisions for it.
on that, it's not gonna be connected to the sewers.
No, it's no go.
No, I was just saying, you don't have to
West
worry about
Wareham,
that.
yeah.
No, we have no,
But
it
you-
doesn't go that far out.
You understand what I'm saying, I mean, you gotta, what you're allowed, and then what you'd be requesting through variance. And the density increases, so you've gone from, say, 2 or 4 rental units
Yeah,
to 16.
yeah,
So that's a lot more rent coming in. I know there's a cost associated with the building, but
And maintenance.
the income,
exactly.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so,
And our goal, in fact, like I said, I think the only thing, Pembroke, for instance, has a higher septic requirement than the state. I don't know if Wareham has the same, but we've even met the town requirement just to fit as many, check as many boxes as we can for meeting, other than obviously the density, because that's the point of this project, is that higher density. But we've gone through and just so you know, try to meet as many existing zoning bylaws as we possibly can.
yeah.
And that's the goal we want to repeat here.
How many units in Pembroke?
It's 20 units. Yeah, Plain Street Estates is the development name. Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah,
I'll take a look at that.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
We're going to round 1 with the ZBA, so.
And this
See
would
how
be
that
our
goes.
goal, longer term, is to create
Yeah,
small neighborhood projects.
Yeah.
And
Which is the kind of development this board, or this trust is in favor of. We don't want giant
yeah,
40B projects.
yeah, don't, understood, yeah, no, and,
So I did a density calc on Woodland Cove versus a couple of others that came in. They actually had less density, because even though it's 150 units or whatever,
they have more land.
They have more land, so per unit
Yeah,
area was less than someone else in a smaller, so.
it's also,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It looks like this huge thing, but overall, per density per unit of land
Yeah.
is less.
it's funny because it gets very opaque, right? Where, you know, we might have a sliver of land, unusable land, that goes out and, you know, does 3 acres, 4 acres of swampland, and you've got this much postage stamp to build on, and then you put 100 units here, and it's like, well,
Well, if
you
you do
know.
that, we could do a cluster development.
You can't count the wetland. No slopes greater than 15%.
I understand that, but he didn't say
I'm just
wetland.
teasing you.
He didn't say wetland, he says it goes out to 3 acres.
Yeah.
And if he makes it, you know,
But you could go back and forth about, it has to make sense at the end of the day for everyone.
Yes.
It has
I'll
to
bring
make
Dunkin'
sense.
coffee next time.
Yeah.
So it's at lunch.
well, no, I hadn't expected
have
the
any lunch.
preliminary
Oh,
business to take
gosh.
as long as it did.
And Carl, once you all approve the letter and the letter gets sent over to me, from getting onto the counter with the select board, who could help me do that?
Ken,
Ken would be?
Ken could help, or
Okay.
you could go down at the other end of the hall.
Yeah.
Karen is on vacation, but she's the select board secretary, so
Okay,
as you're going out that way,
yeah,
the last door on your right is the select board public space, office. And you could go in and speak to them about getting on the agenda as well.
Ken would let you know when you're ready.
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
You
yeah.
do what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, you don't wanna get on too soon, but
Yeah.
also, the
Yeah.
mechanics of getting on the agenda.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Or
So
you could
we'll
just
fill
send
in
an
Ken
email.
after
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
meeting, and then we'll take
Yeah.
Ken's lead to when
Yeah.
ready. Okay, just curious.
Great.
Okay, helpful.
Yeah,
Thank you all
thank
very much.
Appreciate it.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know, today's a
likewise.
hot one, another one. Hopefully we'll see you guys
I'll
soon.
carry.
Enjoy the rest of your summer if we don't see you, because I can't believe it's already like
Well,
mid-July soon.
Yeah, really.
It's the summer's flying.
It's so true mentally, and I hate to say this out loud, but after the 4th, it's like, oh my gosh, get the pumpkins out, where's the turkey, you
Yep,
know?
yep, yep,
Happy
yep.
New Year.
How did you know I was taking a turkey out of the freezer? For sandwiches. Oh,
I don't mind that.
I love turkey on here.
Continuing
bye,
discussion.
bye.
SHI status, are
Thank
we
you.
done? We done, or we?
We're done with that point, so the just open
What
business
is the
items.
issue with our appointments? Cause I just went on the website. Everything's to what you had in your memo. But is this that's different?
What's it
Was
say?
yours see-
What's yours say? I didn't even have
2025.
25.
They all said 2025. Somebody
So
made a
we
mistake.
got sworn into the wrong time frame,
Yes.
which doesn't match what's on the website.
Correct.
So which gets, red
we're-
website has to be updated.
No, we're gonna fix it. First, we're gonna get it fixed, because I think what the select board voted was what's on,
On the website,
yes.
And-
yes.
That was the motion that was sent,
Yeah.
that was the motion that
Which
was made.
means this document is wrong.
Correct. So Karen's out this week.
Okay,
I've
so
made
you'll
Ju-
take care of,
You heard me
we may
make
have to be
Judith
sworn in again
Yes.
with the right date.
with the right
Okay.
dates.
So,
But we're all good for today, because we're all sworn in.
we don't have to be. If we hadn't been reappointed, we're still here until we've been reappointed.
That's right,
Or
we're a little bit
replacement.
different than the rest of the
Right,
boards.
yes.
Yeah.
There's a couple others that are like that, even through state statute. Just an FYI, length of appointment is 2 years, not 3.
For us,
So you can't go to 27. You should stay to 25 and then be reappointed next year.
I'll,
And that's by the towns and also the Mass General laws.
I will, if you could send me that reference, and when I meet with
Send
Judith,
you
I'll
all
get it.
sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I know. I keep all of it, read all of it, file all of it.
And
and I get overloaded with things to read.
yeah, and I'm not clear on, and I don't think I've seen the correspondence related to Mr. Sullivan's question on release of CPC funds.
There was no
There was
correspondence.
no correspondence, it was
He
all
doesn't,
verbal.
it was all.
Between who?
Me, I walked into his office and pushed him to sign, and he said, okay, this is, why don't we close, I wanna close the meeting.
Go ahead, close the meeting. Motion to,
Do you have other
If we
business?
could close the meeting, we can't, can we have the discussion?
not technically, no.
Not technically, because we will be a quorum.
So,
All right, so,
Because
Could-
it's on the agenda.
under
No, no, it
Right. No.
could the recording end? Or does it have to be,
It stays.
Yeah,
then I'm not gonna talk about it.
We are concerned. I had a meeting and Mr. Sullivan was next to me and he asked me about that article. And my response was, there was nothing ever formally written between the town and Affordable Housing Trust regarding the use of the funds to match CPA requirements.
So we're gonna work on getting that
I'm gonna
resolved.
see what I can do to get it
What-
CPA.
But there's nothing in that agreement that says anything about our
No,
funds.
there isn't anything in the agreement that says the source of funds. So
And
this
we have-
objection came from knowing where we're getting our money from,
That's
not
not-
on the doc. It
nothing-
should be limited to what the document says and only that.
Has nothing to do with this objection.
No, the document does not. His document is the funding source, which is
No,
not.
that's not even what he's concerned about. He's
Well-
looking for reasons to not sign.
Well, that's,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second, and we close at
So,
11:06.
11:06.
You guys are adjourned?
Thank you.
Yeah.